Yes. What's going on, guys? I'm in nature, and we're going to talk about supply and demand. So let's go. Now, we're going to talk about some supply and demand secrets and tips that's going to help a lot of beginners out when it comes to supply and demand. And most of these tips I'm going to talk about today are really not talked about a lot when it comes to supply and demand. So let's go. So the first one is zones are made to be broken. Okay, most new traders, when they trade supply and demand zones and it breaks, they get all confused or they get mad about, the zone breaking. Guys, it is what it is. It's not going to hold up all the time, right? So you have to understand the zone might break, okay, but that's not the end of the world. And believe it or not, there's probably another opportunity on the opposite side. So let me show you guys a quick example. So right here, guys, we're looking at the 5-minute chart. And by the way, this will work in any market and it will work on pretty much any time frame. But today I'm going to show you guys the 5-minute chart. Now, right here, we have the market shooting up right here, right? And it came back to a demand area, right? Now, notice how it went up a little bit, okay, and went down and went up a little bit, and it broke that zone. A lot of you guys will say, oh man, that didn't work out, cry about it. It is what it is, guys. Not everything is going to work out 100%. But a lot of times it will give you an opposite signal. So notice how the market dropped, right, and went below that zone. Now we can say, okay, we see aggressive selling right here. We could draw another zone to the downside, right? And if it hits this zone, you can go short. And it gave you another opportunity, right, to the downside. So let's say you took a loss right here. Guess what? You can make some money right here to the downside and take care of that loss. All right. And not only take care of the loss, you can actually put money in your pocket because this was a big winner. So, guys, listen, it's okay if the market breaks the zone. It is what it is. So let's go to the next one. The next one is supply and demand is not a strategy. Okay, what do I mean by that? A lot of people that look up supply and demand on YouTube, automatically they think it's a strategy, meaning that they can take the supply and demand zones every time they see it. Guys, you can't do that. You can't just take every single zone that you see, because supply and demand is not a strategy, right? If you really want to learn how to actually come up with a strategy, go look at my last video where I talked about how, or the different steps you need to, just come up with a strategy. Now, supply and demand zones are just levels, guys. That's it, right? And you're looking at a level, and you're looking to see how price reacts at that level, okay? I remember when I first started out and I studied double tops or pin bar setup, and I thought that every time I saw a double top, I should take the trade. And that's not the case, guys. If you're gonna take every supply and demand trade that you see, you're gonna lose. It's just what it is. You have to know other things before you take the trade. And that's the next thing we're gonna talk about. The next thing we wanna talk about, guys, number 3, is know the market direction before you trade, okay? Before you take any supply and demand trade or any trade at all, I don't care if it's supply and demand, guys, know the direction of the market, right? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it sideways? Know that beforehand, because some of you guys are going against the trend. You see a supply zone, but you don't even understand that you're going against the trend, and you're taking that supply trade, right? And you're getting stopped out, and you're trying to figure out, it's supply right there, but you're going against the trend. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't know that, right? So you have to know the direction, because if you fight the direction, a lot of times you're going to be wrong, just what it is. So guys, make sure you know the direction, right? Now, the 4th thing you need to know when it comes to supply and demand is it's okay to look at zones on a smaller time frame, okay? I'm going to show you guys some examples of my trades that I took last month, okay? And I'm going to go over, the zones that I look at. I mainly look at zones on a 5-minute chart, okay? That's what I do. Now, a lot of people will look at zones on a daily chart, 4-hour chart, or the 1-hour chart. I don't like to do that because I don't want my zones to be too wide, right? A lot of times if the zones are too wide, so let's say, for example, let's go on the chart real quick, okay? Let's say it was a zone right here, right? And we have a big zone. Let's say this was on a 4-hour chart. Now, as soon as we get to the zone right here, what are we going to do? Are we going to go short right here? Possibility, okay? Are we going to go short right here? Maybe we could. Oh, we have a double top. Are we going to go short right here? Yeah, possibility. Boom, you get stopped out. Okay, now we're going to go short right here. So to me, when the zones are too wide, okay, we can go short right here. We can go short right here. The middle of the zone, the top of the zone is like, it's so wide to the point where it can give you, in my opinion, a lot of false signals, okay? So I don't like to look at big zones on a higher time frame. Now, if it's working for you, do it, okay? I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying I don't like to do it. I like to mainly look at support and resistance on a higher time frame, because honestly, support and resistance for me, those levels are more exact. It's more, aligned, okay? And it's not like a big wide zone. So I like to look at supply and demand on a smaller time frame, like this right here. So right here we are at the 5-minute chart, and if I see a supply and demand on the 5-minute chart like this, okay, this is the demand level right here, I would look to take that trade. So let's go to the next one. The fifth thing, guys, when it comes to supply and demand is it's best to look for confirmation before you take the trade, okay? Now, some people don't look for confirmation, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But if you are a beginner, I believe it gives you more confidence when you are taking a trade. And not only give you more confidence, it's showing you, okay, that it's some type of reaction around this level. So to me, looking for confirmation at a level, it could be a double top, it can be candlestick rejection, it could be anything that you want, but some type of confirmation that buyers or sellers are coming in the zone, okay? Now let's talk about the sixth thing, guys, and that is you don't have to have your zone so far away. Now, when it comes to me, guys, I don't like to have my zones far away. I like to have my zone as close as possible, because in my opinion, recent price action matters way more than price action that happened weeks or months ago, unless it's a major level. But for the most part, recent price action matters more to me, in my opinion. But again, if it works for you, continue to use it. So I like to have my zones as close as possible. So I like to look at new, fresh zones that's being created during the day. And the last tip about supply and demand is you can actually use supply and demand zones as targets, profit targets, okay? So you can trade zone to zone. So let me show you guys a quick example. Okay, so right here, the market's going down. Okay, so let's say we have support right here, and we have buyers coming in. So we have buyers coming in, you see the market, and you want to go long. So you go long right here, okay? Now, you notice while you are in this long that we have a supply zone right here. So this could be a nice target if you are trading. So if you are trading, let's say you're going long or even going short, and if you see an obvious supply zone, you can actually use that as your profit target. Okay, now let's go to some trades that I took this month. Now, this is not all the trades I took this month, because a lot of my trades are support and resistance trades. I'm going to only show you guys the supply and demand trades. So let's go. Okay, so this is NASDAQ, and this is the 5-minute chart. I trade the NASDAQ pretty much, mainly the NASDAQ every single day, and it's the 5-minute chart. So again, I like to look at zones on the 5-minute chart, and I like to look at fresh zones. So this was a fresh zone that the market created, right, when the market opened, and pretty much the market came back to this zone right here. So I saw that right here, and I was looking for longs. We had a nice bullish ball right here, and I went long, and my target was the high. Okay, now where do you want to put your stop loss? You can put your stop loss, again, if you look for confirmation, maybe a double top or a double bottom or a candlestick, you can put it below that setup, or you can put it below the zone, right? Or it depends on you, okay? Go back test that and see what works for you. Everyone is different. So let's go to another trade. Okay, so right here we see that the market was trending down, right? And we had a nice aggressive move to the downside. So the market came to this, showed me this nice rejection bar right here, and I went short. And pretty much I was looking for these lows right here, but I got stopped out, so that was a loser. It is what it is. So let's go to another trade. All right, so here's another day right here, guys. Remember, I don't like my zones to be 2 weeks back, 4 weeks back. That's just how I trade. My zones are pretty much that day. Okay, so right here we had the aggressive move, and then the market came right back to that demand. Okay, and then we had a nice rejection. I went long right here, guys, right? And my target was this, pretty much this supply zone right here, and I was done. I actually took a resistance trade right here, but we're not talking about support and resistance today. But that was my demand trade. So let's go to another day. All right, so here is a demand trade, guys, right? We have an aggressive move to the upside. It came right back to this demand area right here. And okay, you can actually go to the candle that started the move, okay? Or you could go to the candles that's around the zone. And that's what I like to do. So came back to the zone right here. We had a nice rejection, and I went long right here, okay? And it was a nice quick one-to-one right here. Right? So that was that trade. Let's go to another day. Okay, so here's another day, guys. We have a nice demand right here. Okay. And basically the market went up. Nice aggressive move. Came right back to that demand zone. I saw this nice bullish bar, and also we had these two rejections right here. So I went long when it went above this rejection bar right here, and stop was below here, and I got out right here. All right, so let's go to the next trade. All right, so this was in the morning. I remember this trade. And lately, NASDAQ overall been very, very bullish. So, I've been taking a lot of long trades, and, the market been trending up. So right here, we had a nice demand level, and the market did almost like a double bottom right here. Okay. And I went long right here for a quick 1-to-1, and I was out. And pretty much after that trade, I actually caught another trade, which is right here. And this level was holding really, really good. So I decided to take another trade, and boom, that trade got out at the high, and I was done for the day. Okay, so let's go to another trade. All right, so this is a trade I took on Friday. It was bouncing off this demand level. Okay, we had multiple green bars in a row, bounced off this level, took this trade, and I pretty much got out at resistance. Okay, so when I saw this bar going above this bar right here, got in, and I got out at resistance, and I was done for the day. That was Friday. Okay, so I hope you guys learned a lot today. Learn how I look at the market and learn how I trade supply and demand zones. Again, there's no right or wrong way how you look at the market. Okay, I like to look at fresh zones and zones that's close by. A lot of people like to look at zones that's far. I don't like to do that, but I'm here to show you guys there's other ways to look at supply and demand, because a lot of times if you look at supply and demand, they will show you a zone that's so far away or a zone that's so wide or big. And I want to show you guys there's other ways to trade supply and demand. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also check out my trading program, because that trading program can take your trading to the next level, and also have a discount going on. So check that out below in the description. If you have any comments, comment below, because I try to answer all you guys' questions. Thanks a lot for your time, and please have a great day.